Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Craft Parenting Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Joe Ludwig, and with me is my lovely wife and co-host, Caroline. How's it going, Caroline?
I mean, I am doing great. I do not have a sinus infection. I did not get lots of beers from Jangle last night, so the kids aren't the problem today.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who you would be talking about.
I don't know either. I'm sure it's not Julia.
That's right. We have a guest today. Tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
My name is Peggy. I'm a bartender here at West Side Brewing. No, not really. I'm Julia. I co-host Truth Beer and Podsequences with the awesome Marco. I'm a West Sider, born and raised. I'm never getting out of the West Side probably. And I am incredibly happy to be here with you guys for your show today.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Julia.
Yeah. They said, do you want to drink at 11 a.m.? And I'm like, I'm in.
I mean, I have not cracked a beer at 5 o'clock in the morning before, so...
Yeah, Labor Day trip.
Yeah.
Hey, let's tie this into Cincy Brewcast. Early is a matter of perception.
I know.
There you go.
It was still after 5. You just didn't specify which 5.
AM or PM.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Joe. I'm stealing your intro. Please.
No.
Please take over.
We usually get a little off the rails. So, welcome back to the Craft Parenting. Did I already say that?
Probably. Just say what our show is this week and that we've had beers.
Yeah, so this is going awesome. Okay, so we are a podcast about two Cincinnati craft beer lovers, and we have a parenting problem.
But not last night.
Not last night.
Because we had a sitter.
We had a sitter. But this morning we had a dog problem.
We did.
The dog woke us up at 6:30. Julia, if you want a dog... she's a brat. She's very stubborn.
She loves food.
I'm selling this very well.
I think we're good for right now, but if that changes, we will certainly let you know.
So we are here live on location at West Side Brewing here in Westwood at 11 o'clock in the morning because...
If you're not here when the brewery opens, do you even like Cincinnati craft breweries?
Yeah, it just kind of worked out that way. And as we said, we had a sitter last night, and we have to go pick up the kids. So we are here recording, and Julia is awesome. It's awesome that you're here. I'm glad that worked out.
I'm glad we can day drink together.
Absolutely.
But we are going to talk about the West Side because, Julia, you are a West Sider.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Cincinnati craft beer community, there has been some questions about what is the West Side? Why is it? What is it? What's going on over here?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about that in this week's episode. And we are going to go ahead and dive in and get started. So before we talk about the West Side staples, as it were, we have some adult beverages in front of us. So let's go around the table and tell everyone what we're drinking.
So I am drinking a West Side Blackberry wheat. It's 5.4% ABV, 15 IBUs. They tapped it on Tuesday, and it's almost gone. So by the time you're listening to this, I'm sorry, not sorry that you missed it. I drank it all.
All right. I am drinking, obviously, West Side Brewing's Tangerine Juicy IPA, which tastes just like a mimosa, so it's perfect for first thing in the morning. It is 7.3%, I believe, and I did not write down the IBUs, and I cannot see it on the board because there is a glare.
But it's 6 or 61. I think 6 maybe.
Okay. It's really good. It's
weird for an IPA, though.
Right.
But we're going to roll with it.
It's delicious.
It's our truth.
It's delicious, and I believe that this is in package in cans. So if you see Westside's Juicy IPA in cans, it should be this one. It should be the Tangerine. So definitely grab a 6-pack.
And I am drinking a West Side Pilsner. It's 5.3%, 34 IBUs. Perfect for the weather that we're having and the blizzard-like conditions.
I mean, it was sleeting when we were driving over here, so I feel like we should all have stouts and really heavy, dark beers.
Normally, I would concur with that statement, but I want spring now.
Mm-hmm.
We've had enough winter.
Yeah, go away, winter.
Agreed.
But if you don't like the weather in Cincinnati, wait 10 minutes and it'll change. That has been very accurate the last 2 days.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, we'll probably walk outside and it'll be 75 and sunny.
We'll need to be in shorts and t-shirts.
I know. So now it is time for What's Bugging Caroline in Children's TV, where you, Caroline, tell us all about the lack of physics and logic in children's TV. So go ahead, take it away, and tell us what is bugging you this week.
So we're going to talk about a show called Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I don't know if you've heard of it, Joe.
I've never heard of this.
No, never. Must be no.
Yeah, I never talk about the show ever. So in this episode, Goofy has found a hat with a pom-pom and is showing it off to all of his friends. And we're like, hey, wait a second, dude. That is not a hat with a pom-pom. That is a bird's nest with a real bird's egg in it.
Oh, man.
We need to find the bird's mom so we can, give her back her egg. But, oh, no, the egg has now hatched. So we need to get the baby bird, specifically baby redbird, back to his mother once we can find her. So we're going to go up in the telescope and look for the forest. And as we're looking around, we look at the Mickey Pond that is surrounded by trees. We go over a bunch of trees, and then we look at Mickey Park that is also surrounded by trees. And then we go look over more trees, and we stop at a section that's just trees. And oh, hey, look, we found the forest. What were the other sections of trees that we were looking at before?
They
Was
couldn't
that
see
not
the forest for the trees.
Apparently. We need to better define what a forest is when literally everything around us is trees and it qualifies as a forest. You're going to confuse my kids, who I'm taking to the forest this weekend. So
Nice.
I'm going to spend the whole time explaining to them that, yes, this is in fact the forest.
So here's a question, because my experience with Mickey Mouse Club has just been through your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And not to go too much down any rabbit hole, but is it a show where Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, all the characters are their normal ages, or are they kid versions of Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald?
They're their normal ages?
So how long has Goofy been on this earth that he has never seen a bird's nest to know, hey, this isn't a hat?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just throwing it out there.
There are lots of things on the show that does not make sense. And that is for sure one of them. But, I mean, this is early on in the episode, and Baby Redbird becomes a reoccurring character, which is nice.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
Yeah,
still doesn't make
Baby
sense.
Redbird is like Goofy's pet. So they all have pets except Daisy. And there's an entire episode about how she wants to
ends
look
up with
for a pet. Yeah.
a hippo, a giraffe, no, baby elephant, a giraffe, and a bunny as her pet.
That's quite the menagerie.
Yes,
Yeah.
because the baby elephant is an animal at the petting zoo. I think the giraffe is at the petting zoo too. They're not your typical petting zoo. It's a very interesting world.
All right.
Still not sure where it takes place. Still very concerned what my children are learning on the show. But they like it, so
They do. Yes.
we will appease the tiny terrorists with Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
All right, so on to our main topic of this week's episode, which is our favorite West Side staples. But first, I think for all the listeners out there, we need to define what do we consider to be the West Side of Cincinnati. I have in the doc, I don't know, Julia, if you are familiar with this, but there's a comic that I didn't put the whole comic. It's actually kind of hard to find. But
Your aunt has it framed in her house, or
Yeah.
at least she used to.
So it's the Far Side. I believe it's like it used to be a comic strip in the Cincinnati Enquirer.
Mm-hmm.
I never got the newspaper, so I'm not super familiar with it, but my aunt had this comic in its entirety.
It talks about the wall of 75 that divides the east and the west side, and it just went up overnight, and one guy got stuck on the wrong side of the wall and was never able to return.
Sounds accurate.
The east side is covered with rookwood pottery and beautiful mosaics, and the west side is full of go sports teams,
Cornhole boards,
Yeah.
and breweries.
Yes.
And
breweries, yeah.
at one point the wall tore down both sides looked at each other and said, no, we're just going to build that wall back up and continue to live our lives.
So I'm going to go off of this comic. When we say the West Side, we're talking west of 75, but probably inside the 275 loop. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah,
Maybe
I would definitely agree. A tiny bit of crossover from 75 going a little towards 71, but definitely not all the way over to 71. West Side is definitely full west.
Yeah. So on the West Side, nothing ever changes. Landmarks are always churches. So you go down the street, you pass St. Jude. If you have hit St. Al's, you've gone too far.
Yep.
Look for Ron's Roost. You've passed Ron's Roost. You know you're going in the right direction. Oh, you want to turn left at the 5-way. But the 5-way is now just a regular four-street intersection.
The 5-way turned into a 4-way, and we still haven't recovered from that, even though it's been a very long time since that change has happened.
At least pre-COVID. Right?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Oh, like right after we moved into our neighborhood, the 5-way disappeared and turned into a 4-way.
Yeah.
And we still say, like, hey, I'm at the 5-way. It's like, I'm getting closer to home. Here is my landmark. And there's always beer.
There is.
So, like, I have not walked through our neighborhood drinking a beer while pushing a child in a stroller. I have not seen other people do that as well. It is a thing that happens.
As long as you're being responsible and no one knows what you're doing.
Yeah. It's in a koozie.
Just keep the kids safe. It's fine. Exactly. You don't want your glass to break or the can to get warm and then you're drinking warm beer. So
Yeah,
it's all good.
It's not like I bring a full growler to a children's park.
No one that we know would ever do such a thing.
No, we don't know anybody who would ever do that.
No one does that. So now we're going to talk about kind of the differences between, well, not the differences, but
the things that make the West Side West.
The West Side West, yeah. Kind of like the culture and places that would go that are kind of unique. The first one is very seasonal, but it's relevant to this season that we're currently in. It's the fish fries.
Yes.
There's so many fish fries.
It's because there's so many churches and so
many Catholic churches.
Right.
And for those of you who aren't from Cincinnati but know of McDonald's Filet-O-Fish sandwich, that was born and raised on the west side of Cincinnati. The McDonald's that we used to drive by every day because it was near our parents' house. They were like, we're seeing fewer sales of hamburgers during Lent. We have to do something so we can actually like make a profit now. So they came out with the Filet-O-Fish sandwich and it was a hit. And now all the McDonald's do it during Lent.
Yeah. And if you are near any of the churches in the area on Friday evenings, typically between 4 and 6 p.m., you may want to find an alternate route because the lines to go through whatever their fish fry pickup purchase situation is ridiculous. If you're around St. William's on West 8th Street, the line will be halfway down, like almost all the way to Elbron, practically. It's ridiculous.
The line for St. Al's ends up taking over most of Bridgetown. And the last time we went to St. Al's, we like didn't have to wait in line at all.
Oh wow.
Like there were like it was like 4 cars deep.
It was
like,
crazy.
Is this they're still doing the fish fry, right? And it was just we got there at the right time because as soon as we left, it was a wall of cars again.
So for anyone that's not familiar with the West Side fish fries, almost all the churches during these hours that they have them will have a cop helping to direct traffic into the church and around the church because it's crazy. It's amazing and it's ridiculous all at the same time.
And our friends that don't like observe Lent still go to the church fish fries because they're like, it's really good food.
Yeah.
I'm going to go there for their really delicious food, even though I had like a hamburger for lunch.
Yes.
Because we don't discriminate. You eat all the food you want.
Absolutely.
And I remember growing up working spaghetti dinners and stuff like that too. Like the Boy Scouts, they usually had a spaghetti dinner during Lent. So Lent is definitely a big deal. I'm not saying that the East Side doesn't have fish fries, but I would imagine that the West Side has a lot more.
Yeah.
Well,
and more concentrated in the area.
More churches per capita.
And when you're driving through the pickup line, if you pay attention, you can see the cans of Miller Lite or Bud Light stashed up against the building.
For the dads that
or
are
in the
working
dads'
lines, yeah.
hands that are weaving between the cars, collecting orders.
Yep. I'll take some fish and chips and a can of whatever you're drinking back there. If you're lucky, sometimes you get snuck a can through the window of your car when you get your fish. Sometimes you're not so lucky.
Yeah.
It's always worth asking.
Oh, for sure.
All right, so let's move on to the second staple of the West Side, and this is also a seasonal activity, although there's so many churches that it seems like it goes on.
It goes on forever. There's one every weekend, pretty much.
So, and this is the Parish Festivals that all the churches do. So each weekend there's usually some kind of festival starting in May, late May, maybe.
Yeah, late May, early June.
Yeah, it's typically as the school year starts closing out, like maybe a weekend or two prior.
Yeah.
Sketchy carnival rides, delicious fried food.
Way too much for like the
Big
scratch-off
Six,
tickets.
scratch-offs,
Yes.
Scratch-off tickets.
It's not gambling if it supports a church.
Yes, that is exactly how that works.
Yes. But pretty much if you are growing up, if you were not at one of the parish festivals every weekend during the late spring, summer, you weren't living. You weren't a true Westsider. No, this is just what we do. You know, the group of kids from, your grade school class would all meet up at one of the churches and
definitely.
just hang out there causing, not really trouble, but just, wondering. We had...
Wandering around in mass.
And you only had, like, when I was in grade school, you would have, if you were lucky, maybe $10 that your mom would give you for rides and food and the little, tear-off games. Bells and bars and bells.
Bars
Is that
and
the
bells
big one?
sounds like
That's where, like, all my money always went. But it
Teaches
was
you young.
every single weekend. It's like, oh, are we going to, this festival? And if you couldn't for some reason, well, that's lame. Why aren't you going?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're
family
going on
stuff.
vacation to Myrtle Beach that weekend.
Well, can't you do it next weekend? We have a festival to go to. But yeah, Westside is definitely big on those.
Yeah.
So our parish is a little bit different where they actually do an Oktoberfest festival.
Oh, nice.
So theirs is during the school year, which I don't quite know how the parking situation works out for that, but they figure it out. And so they'll have like good Oktoberfest beers. They'll have all the sports games on because football season has started by that point. And then we used to dance there as the Donnerschwaben Society.
Okay.
The Donnerschwaben Society still dances there. And they'll actually bring out all the younger dance groups. Versus normally it's like you'll get the youth group or the Schuplottlers. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll get both. But at this place, you'll actually get the Kleine Kinder and the middle group as well, which is like the super young kids.
Okay.
Because it's a church festival. You can bring the kids to a church festival.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's not as crazy. But your school at St. Ives, they used to wait until after their parish festival to start school.
Yeah, it's usually late August for the St. Ives Festival, and I don't know if it's because of what you said in the doc. Maybe they don't want to compete with other.
By the time they staked out their weekend, there were only like 2 to choose from.
Right.
Yeah.
Or when I was there, they were under construction quite a bit.
Gotcha.
So maybe they moved it later because of the construction.
That could have been it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Joe, you were a St. Ives person. I went to St. Catherine. Caroline, what was your school?
I went to Montford Heights and White Oak. And then good old Coleraine High School.
Judging.
I mean, I will judge you based on where you went to high school and whether or not our sports teams had a rivalry.
This is true,
Even though I cared 0% about sports while I was in high school and care even less about it now.
I cared more about, since I went to Mercy, an all-girls high school, when that doesn't exist anymore. I cared more about the rivalries between like the all-boys schools than like the Mercy Seton or Mercy Macaulay or because again I wasn't really a sports person in high school, so I'm like, I don't know, I don't care if our softball team is beating another softball team.
Yeah, but we're going to go to a football game this weekend, and yes, I would like to see Elder beat St. X. That'd be great.
I went
she was probably rooting.
Elder.
She was probably. Were you rooting for Elder or? Were
No,
you?
hell no. No, I was a LaSalle girl.
Oh, okay, I went to LaSalle.
Oh, nice, excellent. I knew there was a reason I liked you. I should have guessed by the red sweater you're wearing today, even though it says UC, but it's also LaSalle colors. So
so
just as long as Elder got their butts kicked, I was good with it.
Yeah, when I was there, it was 50-50 during the 4 years, it was 50-50. 2
Okay.
years we beat Elder. 2 years we
Lost.
lost Elder. So
I bet they cheated.
They probably did.
They probably
I was in the
cheated.
marching band, so I got to go
Nice.
to every football game for free.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
I don't know if they charged. They cost money to go to marching band, but I don't know if they charged us tickets.
Did
or
you
whatever.
go to the, what were they called? Not rumbles, the dances that they would have after the LaSalle home games? Sometimes.
No.
I graduated in 99, so this was between like 95 and 99. And after every LaSalle home football game, or almost every one, they would have a dance that you could, like $5, $10, I don't remember what it was,
No, they
in the
didn't have
gym at
that for
LaSalle
me.
after the game, and
Oh,
it
man.
was a riot.
No,
That was
we
amazing.
were pretty exhausted. Usually we would have a competition on Saturday morning. So, yeah, marching band was a huge time commitment as far as that goes. But you were talking about Seton
Yes.
to go down a rabbit hole. My mom.
It's still West Side, so it's
Uh-huh.
not that much of a rabbit hole.
Yeah, but my mom and her sisters graduated from Seton.
Okay.
They lived down the street from St. Williams.
Could see the
Right
church
there-
bells from her
From
mom's bedroom window.
Right there on the
Oh,
corner.
wow, okay.
Yeah,
Such a beautiful church.
it is. Yeah. And yeah, so born, raised, Price Hill, same house. Well, pretty much the same house.
Except all four of her siblings went turncoat and moved to the east side.
No.
I know.
Yeah.
The only good one. The only good one of the bunch.
Yeah, but she's still around. She's at
Nice.
West Park
Nice. Okay. Okay.
at the retirement community there.
We do still talk to the aunts and uncle, even though they are on the east side.
Yeah, they
Alright.
were trying to lobby her to move to a retirement community on the east side. And my mom's like, hell no. You're not doing that.
We're not moving her
No,
over there.
Definitely not. So next thing on your list of all the West Side staples is the Dent Schoolhouse, the haunted schoolhouse.
Yes.
Which I volunteered a couple times to help kind of construct it a few of the years with a couple friends of mine. But I've only actually been through it once because I don't like jump scares.
Yeah.
So I took my nephew. My nephew really wanted to go, and this was, gosh, I don't know how long ago. This could have been almost 10 years ago now for all the good my memory has.
Yeah.
And I told him, I'm like, just so you know, if there's something freaky, I am holding you in front of me. You will be my shield, and I will sacrifice you so that I can get away from whatever happens. And he's just like, that's fine, that's fine. All fun and games until I actually did it, and I'm like, take him! And I run down the hallway, but man, that place is so popular.
It
Yeah.
is.
Like, not
In
just on the
fall,
west side, but yeah.
So back in our day, because we would go after dancing at St. Jude Oktoberfest, because it'd be later in the evening, so the line wouldn't be as long. Not as many people knew about it back then. I swear one year we hit all 3 floors of the building. And then they started just doing like one and then down,
And then there would be the annex in the back, too.
yeah.
So when I was helping put it together, the 3rd floor was where the break room was for
Yeah.
everyone that was going to be working there. And there was at least the 1st floor, a floor above that, in the basement. I don't know if they ever changed that to where that top floor actually had part of the haunted house go through it or not.
Yeah.
But when I took Cameron, I think you're right. I think it was just the 1st floor in the basement. I don't think there were more than 2 levels.
Yeah, because I swear, one year we went up and then down and then up, and we went all over the place. And I was like, I have no idea where I am right now.
Yeah, we went outside, and there was a staircase outside, right?
Well, now they have the circus outside in the front as a kind of you can buy stuff on your way
Before
in.
you get right, yeah.
But then BuzzFeed did an article and put them in the top 5 haunted houses for the whole country. And it's and now everyone goes there.
Well, I like that you guys did, in the notes that you guys had written down about the schoolhouse, we used to do the same thing. We would park in that empty lot that was directly across from the Dent School. Is it a car wash
It's
now?
a car wash
Yeah.
now.
But
it's
yeah,
weird.
it was one of those. It was just a big empty lot, and they told the volunteers, the workers, that's where you guys park. But they never checked anything. So if you just happened to turn in and park there, and you were just going through the haunted house, you were good. But then, one year, just driving past it, wasn't intending to go. But I'm like, why is that lot completely packed? And I think that was right after that BuzzFeed article, and people were like, I'm just going to park anywhere that I can find space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares if I blocked other people in? It's fine.
It's fine. It's great. But yeah, the Dent Schoolhouse is... I'm so glad that it is still around. Like,
Yeah.
when they
Oh,
first said
for
that they were
sure.
going to be doing it, I'm like, how long is that going to last? Because there were things like the Delhi haunted house down where the old Thriftway used to be. And that only lasted, well, that stuck around for at least 5 years, I think. But I'll tell you what, whatever Dent Schoolhouse is doing,
It's working.
they need to keep it up, yeah.
And I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again.
Yeah.
But we knew a guy who was an actor, and then he became security.
So
later.
we met him as an actor because he was attacking people with a chainsaw.
Oh,
And
he was
then
the
he was
chainsaw
like-
guy. Nice.
He's like, Joe? And he just like walked us out, and the people behind us are like, why isn't the chainsaw guy attacking anybody?
He was like, he took, I mean, the chainsaw doesn't have the
chain,
on
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
so it's,
It's still loud and scary as hell, though.
oh yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
does,
Yeah.
yeah. And he corners you, and he has fun with it. And so he was like cornering someone. We were just trying to get by, as he was like scaring the crap out of this person. And he turns around and he's like, Joe, really?
I had that happen to me when I was volunteering there as like one of the actors, where just some of the friends that I knew were there, and they recognized me, and they're like, "Oh, it's Joy," and then I'm trying to scream at people and be somewhat scary, which
Yeah.
I really don't do a good job at anyway. But they're just like, "Oh, look at you! You look so cute," and then I'm just going, "Oh my god, can you guys just? You're ruining it! Come on." Fun times though, but yeah, if you haven't been through or volunteered at the Dent Schoolhouse, you definitely should.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely should.
We should take your sister again.
Yeah, we would always take my sister. There was one year where they really got me. And my two fears, needles and clowns.
The first year we went, they had a room that was that was Dr. Clowns holding needles.
Oh god.
And I was like,
And I froze.
okay, this sucks. And I was just like shoving Joe
yeah.
through the aisle.
It's just
like,
not
okay.
cool.
Joe, close your eyes. I'll try to lead you through this one, but let's just not.
No, I was always the leader. That's my job in the schoolhouse.
And then I'm the mom. So I'm like the herd everyone.
Hurt everyone, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's just pretend.
No scared person left behind.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
But Julia, you
Yes.
have a new drink.
I do.
It looks really good.
I was lucky enough to get a glass of the Blackberry wheat.
I
Okay.
let her drink some of it.
It is.
I let them pour her a glass.
Caroline told the bartender, no one but me gets any of this except for Julia. You can get her a glass should she want it. So shout out to kind of our producer behind the scenes, David, today, aka my Josh, who ran out to get me this beer so that I didn't have to lead the conversation. So thank you, sir.
Nice.
We appreciate it.
All right, so item number 4 is Ron's Roost.
Which you're going to make me hungry.
I know. Ron's Roost is a fried chicken place. I believe there's only one location.
Yep.
It has a giant chicken on the top of the building.
You cannot miss it.
No. And there's a giant chicken on a car right outside the building, too.
Which I like to call the Cockmobile.
I mean, it is an appropriate name for it.
Yes. They actually posted a video on Facebook years ago during a snowstorm of the car doing
remember that.
donuts.
That
Yeah.
was on their
And the thing-
sign for a while.
Yeah, it was.
Like every
It
once in a while,
was.
their sign would flash and it'd be the car doing donuts in the parking
yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I've actually only eaten at Ron's Roost once.
Okay.
So it has been a staple for me as far as, the chicken statue and just knowing that it is always there. And
Yeah.
when the elderly are trying to get dropped off right in front of it instead of like in the actual parking lot, it causes an absolute nightmare on Bridgetown.
A little bit.
right.
But yeah, that place, it can never go away. Like you
No.
said earlier, it's a landmark. When you see the giant chicken, you know you're going the right direction. When
Yeah.
you see,
Lily always
know.
points to it when we...
Well, because that's
Come
when
home.
when we're
Yeah.
driving home, I'm trying to teach her landmarks so she can kind of know where things are
Sure,
to
sure.
orient herself.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, we have to look out for the chicken, and she's like, chicken.
that's perfect.
But I went there with both sets of my grandparents, the ones that lived in Delhi and the ones that lived out in like Coleraine and Springdale.
Oh.
So like they would drive all the way
All
in
the way
to
in.
go to
Yep.
Ron's Roost.
Yep.
And then they would give me all of their quarters because there's a little gumball machine that is a chicken
with the eggs.
on a wheel,
Yeah,
and it's got
yeah.
eggs. So it's just like I could get all of the eggs that I wanted, and it'd be like little bracelets or tops or like jumping frogs. stupid stuff that kids love.
That you lose before you even get back to the car.
Yeah.
After you've eaten, yeah.
Yeah, and so
That's great.
We do that all the time. Like, I remember going there before they renovated, and then they renovated, and I'm like, wait, this looks different. What's going on? And that was still like 15 years ago, and I'm still thrown off by it.
Yeah.
Because, again, nothing in the West Side ever changes.
No.
You get a restaurant, a staple, that all of a sudden renovates, and you're like, well, wait a minute. This is new. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I do not like it.
We changed the floor layout. We did not change the menu.
Doesn't matter. It's different.
Yeah, and they have all kinds of like high school, like
school
signs
memorabilia.
and
Mhm.
memorabilia, and from not just even the West Side. I think they have other high schools as well, not
Okay.
just GCL, but other.
I think
like
they have a Coleraine
Coleraine.
hat, yeah.
Yeah.
There was an elder reunion happening there the last time we went. And
I'm
I was
sorry.
like, can I be here for this? I guess so. I'm already here.
Yeah, but we didn't really go to Ron's Roost like you, Julia. It was just kind of a landmark, something that, it's very noticeable when you're driving
the
by.
food's good. When we went, it was one of those, this is good.
We try to take out of towners there.
Mm-hmm.
So usually we end up going when we have somebody not with the family there.
Okay.
And then we're like, we should come here more often. And then
You don't.
we don't.
Yeah, fried chicken isn't my favorite. My grandma, the one who lived in down the street from St. Williams, her favorite was the Colonel. So we would always get Kentucky Fried Chicken as a treat.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice.
Well, you guys would go to Price Hill Chili a lot too.
That's the next item on our list. So good segue.
Good tie-in.
Yeah. So Price Hill Chili is right there on Glenway, and it is a West Side staple.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of famous people go there.
Mm-hmm. Occasionally presidents trying to get people trying to get elected
Vice
to be
presidents, all
president.
that, right. Mhm.
Definitely George W. went.
Yeah.
I
Dick
remember.
Cheney was there.
It's kind of like a 50-50 between whether they go to Price Hill Chili or Camp Washington Chili.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it just depends on where their kind of campaign tour takes them. But
Yeah.
Price Hill Chili is like an actual 0.5 miles, half a mile from my house, which is good, but it's also, it's so easy to get there. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
one day we decided to get Price Hill Chili for breakfast, ordered it online, go to start my car doesn't start. Like, just battery died, something like that. I'm like, I have this order already placed. So I just walked up, got
Yeah.
my food, and I just walked back home.
Hey, that's good though, because you're burning off calories.
Exactly. Have you had their what are they, half moon? They're not cheese sticks, but half moon fried cheese.
No.
I have not,
their
but I'll have
version
to
of-
get that next time.
It's their version of like mozzarella sticks, but it's like just literally a circle of mozzarella that they just cut in half, so it's a half moon shape.
Oh,
the
okay.
seasoning that they use on
We
it,
should go there for lunch.
so good. Yes.
We can
Yeah.
convince my mom to meet us there for lunch. Then we'll give her lunch before we bust the kids off on her.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. It's perfect. But yeah, Price Hill Chili's been there forever. They used to have a secondary, I don't want to call it like a more upscale restaurant tied to the side
The
of it,
Golden
the Golden
Lamb,
Lamb,
yeah.
or Golden Fleece.
It
Isn't
is Golden Fleece.
Yeah.
Golden Lamb
Lamb's
is
up
in
in
Lebanon.
Yeah, the Golden
Yeah,
Lamb.
yeah. Something with
Too many
sheep and wool and all
names
this
and
other
gold
stuff.
and-
But yeah, it was kind of like their bar and, kind of higher end food, and then they just decided to smash it all together, and it's all Price Hill Chili, and
Yeah.
it's your typical greasy spoon restaurant, but my God, is it good.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
mean,
great.
they do it right, and the food has not changed in the 500 million decades that it's
yeah
that it's been there.
And every time we go, which is not often enough, we run into someone that we know
We do. Yeah.
or someone that his parents know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like a 20-minute conversation as our waitress is trying to take us to our table, and we're like, okay, you put us at that table there. Here's what we're going to get to eat. We're just going to talk
We're
to
just
them
gonna
right
ta-
here
yeah.
until the food shows up.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes, and that's another thing. Everyone on the West Side somehow knows everyone else on the West Side. Like, there are very few degrees of separation between anyone and anyone else.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
true.
His,
Yeah.
I know we've said this before, but like his mom was actually concerned at one point because his family has Burkharts in it. And I said, oh, I know some Burkharts. And she's like, oh, wait, are we related,
related?
somehow?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. They're friends, not
but
blood
you still
relations.
know them, right? But you still know them, and it's like,
Yeah.
how do you know so and so? I don't know through this person, this person, this person.
Right. And Price Hill Chili is another one of those places where they have high school memorabilia all over.
Mm-hmm.
They have pictures. I'm sure they have pictures of all the famous people that went there.
Yeah, and the
Oh, yeah.
newspaper clippings and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just covered with the walls are covered with stuff.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, there's always, if you can't find a good conversation to have with whoever you go there with, you can distract yourself by looking at everything on the wall. So you don't even have to talk to people when you go there. You can just sit at your table and stare at the articles on the walls.
But it's the west side of Cincinnati. You're going to talk to everyone.
Oh, you are absolutely going
Yes.
to talk to everyone for 3 times as long as you need to.
Yeah. So my cousin lives in Washington State now, and whenever she comes into town, she'll spend like 20 minutes talking to somebody in the line at Wendy's.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're going to get food, and like they'll just have like 20. They'll know everything about each other, be super best friends, and she'll do that every single place we go. And she's like, I miss being able to do this.
To do that, yeah.
Because nobody
Yeah.
talks to anybody out there. If you say hi, they're like, why are you looking at me with a smile on your face? Are you going to mug me?
Yeah.
Or something? Because people say, like, oh, it's so hard to get into the West Side. Like, when I moved into Cincinnati, people said, stay away from the West Side because the neighborhoods are so ingrained you'll never fit in. And that's not the case. It's,
Well-
we accept you as one of our own.
After we vet you out. Like, I do think that there is a little bit of truth to that because everything is so kind of established. So someone new moves in. It's
Yeah.
not that people are necessarily unfriendly, but they're just like, I don't know anything about these people yet, so I'm just going to watch them through my windows to see what they're up to. And then once I realize, oh, they do mow their yard once a week and they edge, they're good.
Yeah,
they're
we're good.
golden.
We're
Yeah.
best friends now.
Exactly. I was going to say something else about Price Hill Chili. It's not normal like Texas chili for those outside of Cincinnati. It's
It is Cincinnati
Cincinnati
style chili.
Cincinnati style
Yes.
chili,
Which I have been told is an acquired taste, but it's delicious and you're wrong if you don't like it. Shots fired.
Mike
I don't
drop.
care.
Yes, exactly.
yeah. So they serve like 3 ways, which is spaghetti, chili, cheese, sometimes beans, sometimes onions, I guess, and then they have like chili dogs as well.
And
Yeah.
like diner food.
Yes.
Good diner food.
Very good diner food. Get the Bengal if you're looking for a burger sandwich and you're not interested in chili or their chicken tenders, which are my favorite.
All right, so moving on to Phillips Swim Club, which is right around the corner from Price Hill Chili, actually.
So it hides, because if you know where Lee's Chicken is along Glenway, it's behind Lee's Chicken.
Yes.
You
all of a
like
sudden
almost
just see,
don't know that it exists.
You glance over and all of a sudden you see like a water slide behind the buildings and you're like, what in the world? What's back
What-
there?
yeah.
Yeah. We were always Gamble Nipper YMCA families, but one of my friends in grade school and high school, their family had memberships to Phillips.
Yeah.
So got to go there a couple times, multiple summers, and just go down the slide and the multiple diving boards and
Oh, yeah. It's
was
a
great.
huge
It's
pool.
huge.
The kiddie pool, the good thing about Phillips is that the kiddie pool is attached to the main pool.
It's like the sunlight pool at
Coney
Coney
Island,
Island, but
yeah.
smaller.
But yeah, it's a little smaller. It's definitely smaller than
Yeah.
Coney Island.
Yeah.
But the slide, like you were saying, it's huge. It's really, really fun.
Uh-huh.
Spent many a summer at Phillips.
And because it is a privately owned organization, as long as it's not a glass bottle, you can bring in beer and you can be drinking a beer while you are in the pool.
sounds like a terrible idea.
It
But
is-
hey, you know
it is
what?
horrible. So you'll see like the kids playing in the pool and like the dads hanging out along the side of the pool drinking their beer, or the moms drinking their beer
Yeah.
while the kids go play. And it's like I still got an eye on my kids, but I get to enjoy myself while I'm
Yes.
doing this like I was in my own backyard
There you go.
because it's the West Side.
Yes. It's also behind Pepe Raimondo and Sons, which is another kind of West Side staple that we didn't mention. Great tailor. I think any time I needed like a dress for a dance altered or anything like that, I've never been anywhere else. So
Nice. I have a few weddings coming up that I will need altered dresses for, so I will have to look into that.
yeah, Pepe Raimondo's or what is it? Rose something or other altars on Harrison and Cheviot, like right where they have the West Side Market. They're
Oh,
good.
nice.
They're good too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And you mentioned Gamble Nippert.
I did.
The Y. We also had memberships. Like when we didn't have memberships to Phillips.
Mhm.
I think it was just to get me swim lessons. I don't think you could do the swim lessons unless you were a member
Yeah.
back then. I think now you can, but it costs a little more.
Yeah.
We used to be members before COVID. We used to be really good. We used to be consistently hiking, actually, before COVID.
We hiked and we did water aerobics. And we made friends with other people who hiked and did water, and then with our water aerobics instructor,
Yeah.
because she was younger.
Mhm.
And it was very intense water aerobics. It was not old people water aerobics.
Mercy alum, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my sister also went to Mercy, right?
Okay.
She
See,
graduated.
everyone's connected somehow.
She graduated right before it
She was like the last or the second
One
to
of the
last
last classes.
graduating
Before
classes
it.
as
Okay.
Mercy.
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have stories of the tears when they made the announcement.
Yeah, I remember a lot of my friends, that I went to Mercy with, who had kids that they were going to go there. They're like, "Well, this is part of our legacy. Like every woman in our family has gone to Mercy, and I wanted my daughter to be able to graduate from Mercy, and now that's not possible." And it's
Yeah.
I know.
I can't send my kid to Seton. That's sacrilege.
absolutely
What do
not.
I do?
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Gamble Nipper YMCA was fantastic. We were up there all the time with my grandparents. They were members, so they would watch my sister and I, when my mom had to work. And if we were up there without my grandparents, there was always kind of like the whole everyone knows everyone. People coming, "Oh, you're Peter and Anna's granddaughter, and where are they? Why aren't they up here with you?" And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, because they're probably at their house, and my sister and I just rode our bikes up here and all that. It was a great little community up there.
Oh, for
Back
sure.
when we went, yeah. It's like everything on the west side.
So another fun place to go is Western Bowl,
Yes.
which I always call Westwood Northern Bowl just because of Westwood Northern Boulevard.
Westwood Northern Boulevard.
There we
Hey, there we go.
Julia with the jokes.
I love it. That's awesome.
go. So they used to have an arcade in the basement. It was like, I don't even remember what it was called. It was something Western themed.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I remember
But-
going down there, and it always felt very sketchy going down there for some reason.
It probably did, but I was like 6 or 7, so I had
So
no
you
concept
definitely
of
should
what
not have
sketchy
been down
was. I go through after we would go have dinner at Ron's Roost. We would go to Western Bowl, and whatever quarters were left would be handed to me,
Yep.
along with some dollar bills to change out, so I could go play in the arcade for a few hours.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, many a game bowled there.
Yeah.
And they have definitely been threatened, or they have threatened to shut down multiple times, and each time somehow they've come back from the brink of close. But yeah, just look
Yeah.
for the huge bowling pin on Glenway Avenue, and
You'll find
there's
it.
your other lane.
Yeah, it's there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't personally go to Western Bowl as a kid. I think we went to like Coleraine Bowl or Hides.
Stones or something, yeah.
Yeah, just because it was closer. But
Sure.
we have gone a couple times. We actually met our good friends Stephen and Hillary bowling at Western Bowl.
Yeah.
It's always fun to go to Cancun and
Get a picture of margaritas
Oh my
to
God,
split.
they're so good.
and then
And then go
next
bowling.
door to
Yes.
bowling. I of course am always the DD.
You drink your Jose Cuervos.
Yeah, I drink beer. Well, they drink
Wait,
the
no,
pitchers.
that's liquor. The
Dos Equis?
Dos Equis.
There
Yeah,
we
you
go.
drink Dos Equis.
No, I think I drink like Bud Light or something. I don't. They don't have a really good list.
So
but
basically, you're still drinking water while you're there. is what
yeah.
it's-
While everyone else is drinking I don't like margaritas. Caroline is actually banned from tequila.
I'm not allowed to drink tequila anymore because I may or may not have accidentally glued my phone to the dining room table allegedly after having some tequila. So we just
Craft
Margarita,
Hold
not
on.
pure tequila. You didn't sound like you did shots, but
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love it.
But I mean, it's also one of the few bowling alleys where if they're having some kind of bowling tournament or bowling league, there's usually at least 10 lanes that are still available for open play.
It's a huge place.
So as long as those lanes aren't already in use, you can still go bowling even though something else is going on.
Yes.
I think a lot of the high school bowling teams go to Western Bowl.
They do.
Yeah,
That's
so
where a lot of
that's like,
competitions are.
and even college. I think our mutual friend in college, he was on the bowling team for a little bit
Yeah.
at UC, and he played a lot at Western Bowl as well.
Okay.
So Maury's Tiny Cove is next on our list, and it's more of an honorable mention because none of us have been there a whole lot.
Yeah, I've only
everyone
been
knows
once.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's like the Westside Steakhouse.
Yeah,
It's definitely not a Jeff Ruby's, but it has been there for decades.
if you are taller than 6'2", you have to duck a little bit
Okay.
because the ceilings are a little low in places.
I know from experience.
Whenever someone is shooting a period movie,
they yeah.
shoot at Maury's Tiny Cove because they have not updated anything, because on the west side we do not update things because that means change.
Yep.
And
Change
no
is
one
bad.
likes change.
Change is bad.
So they've shot 2 or 3 movies there that have been like big name movies because, I don't have to build my whole set, or I don't have to dress this movie. I mean, this restaurant. I just have to like slap 2 or 3 cars in front of it and we're good to shoot.
Yep.
I mean, their steaks are really good. We went for the first time this year for Joe's birthday.
Okay.
Yep, back in
least,
September. The
like-
Schulers. Yeah.
I'm sure that I had been there before that. I just didn't have a memory of it.
Yeah, I asked my mom when I talked to her the other day because we were going over this. And I said, "Did we ever go there?" And she goes, "No, it was just considered. When you guys were kids growing up, why would we take kids to a steak restaurant?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, makes sense."
And if your party's more than like 4 people, you're going to have to wait a while for a table because it's mostly booths.
Okay.
So they have a few areas where you can have a larger party, but his family being very large in both number of people and size.
I was going to say, for the people not watching the live stream, there was a a hand gesture indicating very tall,
Yeah.
tall
Very
for the
tall.
people.
It's
Yes.
hard
dad's
to make them all
6'4".
fit in there.
Kind of going off script a little bit.
Yes.
But continuing the theme of Cheviot, I totally forgot to put this in here, but there's the Harvest Home Parade.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
yeah.
Yeah, and Harvest Home Park. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Harvest Home Park. And
So that this happens every September,
Mhm.
and everyone, it's like a community thing.
You can see the Cockmobile in the parade.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as a high school marching band member, you could have seen me when I was
Marching. Yeah.
when I was marching in marching band at LaSalle.
I would say that for something that is kind of West Side specific, it is on the same scale as the Reds opening day parade. You have people that set out their chairs down Cheviot Road, down North Bend.
It's
feel
like 3 days ahead of
like
time.
3 days ahead of
before,
time. Yeah, like people stake out their seats.
Well, I
to
think
watch
they
this
put out
parade.
notices like, okay, today is the day that you can
That
stake
you
your
can-
claim.
yes.
The same way that they do with the serpentine wall down for the fireworks.
Right. It's crazy. I mean, it's mostly local West Side, businesses and groups. Schools
It is.
in
It's
West Side.
huge.
But my God, it's
the parade. I feel like it's at least 2 hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, easily.
It's a
yeah.
long
yeah.
one.
It's a long parade.
And then it ends at Harvest Home Park where they have some sketchy sketchy festival rides, delicious fried foods,
Yes.
and kind of like they have like a mini 4-H display too.
Yeah.
So like our
Little
friends saw
petting zoo
dog
and
tricks
all that.
there the other year.
Nice.
They've got like all of your handmade crafts that people are like putting in for judging.
They used to have a horse show there, I think,
They
like
might
years and years and years
still.
ago, but I haven't heard.
It's been a hot second since we've been.
Same.
Yeah, we need to take the kids to see the parade this year because the kids are super into parades now.
Yeah, I think they would enjoy that.
Yeah. Make friends with someone who lives in Cheviot, and before the parade, just park at their house and then walk up to the parade route. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And you are good. So, kind of tying into the festival, soft serve ice cream is on
Oh,
your
yeah.
list next.
So I feel like Cincinnati, and probably more specifically like West Side Cincinnati, has a ton of soft serve ice cream places. Because anytime I talk to relatives that haven't like lived in Cincinnati long term, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna go get some soft serve because we just got done doing this hot activity, and they're like, what? You can just do that? Like you don't have to go to like an ice cream parlor? And I'm like,
Dairy Queen or whatever. Right.
no, it's you walk up here and they're only open like 6 months out of the year, but it's delicious. We're going to go to this little rink-a-dink stand and get us some ice cream.
Yep. You have to park 20 minutes away because it is literally on the corner between a residential area and a super busy street.
Yeah.
The ones that you guys have listed, General Custer's, which also has mini golf, and that's right behind Western Bowl, so that definitely ties those together. Zip Dip, which is my personal favorite. Putz's Creamy Whip, and Cone Zone over in the Cheviot there.
Yep.
Yeah, all great places. I want to throw onto that list. It's new, newer. They've only been open 2 or 3 years. Boldface Dairy Barn in Price Hill in the Incline District.
Oh, okay.
Delicious.
I'll have to look that up.
Absolutely
Okay.
delicious. They just opened, I think today actually starts their season. So it is wonderful, wonderful ice cream. Do you guys have a favorite? I know I said Zip Dip was mine, but as far as...
It's also Zip Dip.
Is it Zip Dip? Nice.
Yeah, it's the closest one, but we would go to Putz's as well because it was on the way home from UC.
Yeah.
And my
I'd always stop at
parents lived out
Putz's
that
if
way.
we were hiking or doing something at Maury Park because it's right there. It's like you've been hiking, you're hot, you're miserable.
Yeah.
Ice
Get some
cream.
ice cream. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we're just coming from our house, we'll either go to Boldface or go to Zip Dip. If you can find parking for Zip Dip.
Yeah. The other day, I wanted to go to Zip Dip, and I could not find a parking spot, and I'm like, well, now I have to go home sad. So I went the next day and got more ice cream than I had planned on getting the day before to make up for it.
Excellent.
Because that is what we do.
That is absolutely what you do. Westsiders, when in doubt and you don't get your soft serve one day, you just go back the next day.
Oh, yeah.
We are a resilient group.
And I have, so this year and I think last year were two of the few years that I have not gone to Zip Dip for opening day, but have been to Zip Dip multiple times in a winter coat to get my ice cream, and then I get into the car, put on my heated seats while I'm eating my
your
ice cream
yeah.
to warm up from eating the ice cream that is technically out of season because it's still cold, but I don't care.
Yeah. One of my friends, she had with her husband, their first date was at Zip Dip, so they had their engagement pictures taken at Zip Dip. Like they actually let them come while they were closed. And they're like, hey, we're just going to ask, we had our first date there. We're getting married. We would absolutely love to take some engagement pictures around the, just outside of the building. Would that be okay?
That is the most West Side thing I've ever heard of.
They were able to get a picture
awesome.
of my friend Emily inside the building handing Jeremy an ice cream cone, like through the window.
Oh
it was
and
the
that is like family
thing.
business too.
Yes,
like you try to do that at a corporate store and they're going to give you some flack about it, but family businesses are going to be like, yes, you can do this. We would love it.
Yeah.
Can we have some of these photos?
Yeah. So it looks like, Joe, you have one more section on West Side things.
I do, and it's kind of a bonus because it's not like it's something that people with social media, they share it a lot more, and it's a landmark as well.
Yes.
So there's the Wardway fuel signs and the Westbourne Sunco, and the one is a gas place where you can fill like propane and buy
they
grill
have
accessories.
propane accessories
in the fall. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Pumpkin spice propane.
Yeah, and Westbourne Sunco is a gas station, and they like have funny sayings on their signs. So I thought that was a staple.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're great. I always love driving. Sometimes I will actually go out of my way to drive past either Wardway or the gas station just to see what they have on their signs. The only thing that annoys me about Wardway is they typically only have the funny phrases on the side of their sign that faces Glenway Avenue.
Yeah,
So
they only have it on
coming
one
down
side.
Bridgetown, you don't get to see that. You don't
Yeah.
get to see it. It's just like, grill sale. And I'm like, that's boring. I don't know. Show me the funny stuff. But yeah, those are great. Those are absolutely phenomenal. I love them.
Is there anything else that... Julia, you had a few things in the doc.
I put in a rest in peace
Yes,
for West Side staples that are now gone.
That no longer exists.
That we miss.
Yes.
Okay.
So first one was Schuler's Wigwam.
So, Joe, if you can cut in some like real sad music before this.
I know you don't have anything on the board. Just mark it and find something later.
Don't put that much effort into it.
Okay.
But I remember going to Schuler's Wigwam as a kid, which was out in College Hill.
Yeah, I never remembered that. That was new
I'm
to me.
90% sure that they had a tree in the middle of the restaurant. There was a restaurant that had a tree in the middle of it.
Okay.
But I remember going there a lot as a kid. Not enough that I can tell you what is on the menu, but remembering, we're going to Schuler's Wigwam for the 10th time in the year or whatever.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, there were a couple that I put on the sheet. One of them is Frank's Nursery and Crafts, which was in Cheviot. We went there all the time to get craft supplies, stuff for the garden. My mom, my sister, and I, we would always pick the day with the absolute worst weather possible to go there to pick out our Christmas tree.
Okay.
So we used to get live trees, for years, and that's where we would go. The Capples in Cheviot was always
I would always go there
fun.
for costume stuff.
Oh, yeah. Even if I didn't buy anything, I would just love going there and just wandering around, look at all the costumes and all the theater supplies and all that stuff. And
Okay.
And
Yeah.
they disappeared.
Is that where the gas station is?
No, the gas station is going in where Frank's Nursery and
Yes.
Crafts used
Okay,
to be.
yeah, I remember
Yeah.
going there as well. I was sad when they tore it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Capels building is now like a pawn shop or
That
something.
sounds right, or at least the place right next to it is a pawn shop.
Yeah. Very, very across from the Chivy at Wendy's. So if you know the Chivy at Wendy's, kind of across the street and up the hill slightly is where the Capels was.
Okay.
And then a lot of the floral shops that used to be in the Delhi area, like Selhurst
Yeah.
Florist, Delhi Flower and Garden, which now has a building in Westchester, but no longer in Delhi, which doesn't make any sense.
I
Okay.
mean,
Delhi used to be the floral
bougie
paradise.
people in Westchester are buying lots of flowers. I don't know.
Dude, Westsiders in their front yards.
I know.
We bought
It's
a lot
ridiculous.
of flowers too. Yeah. And then one that I just thought of that I didn't put on the list, Western Rollerama, the only place to go roller skating.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
were in grade school, skate parties.
Yes, that'd be
all
like,
that
We went to
jazz,
the
yeah.
skating place, which was
Okay,
in
yeah,
yeah, the
Coleraine.
skating place
Yeah.
in Coleraine.
Yeah.
I went there once, but I mean, Western Rollerama was so close to our house that
Okay.
that's where I always went to the Twilight Skates. We had to find a partner and skater.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Glow skates.
yeah.
Get a bunch of
yeah.
get a bunch of highlighters out and like write stuff all over your arms to
Mhm.
glow when you were rollerblading around.
I do remember many Martin Luther King Day or President's Day. They would always have
Go to the roller
you
rink.
know, the sale. I don't know what was it about roller rinks.
I don't know, but I mean, man, they were bumping. It was one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, are you go? If you weren't going for like one of the school
Yeah.
nights or something like that, it was kind of like the festivals. Well, why aren't you going? What's wrong with you? This is just what we do. You have to be there.
Yeah. If you're not there, you're square.
Yes. Yeah. Rip to some of those West Side staples.
Yeah. And then, like, I just thought about this too. Like, there's tons of bowling alleys around because, like, all of our parents used to be in bowling leagues.
It's true.
So his parents used to be in a bowling league. My
Yeah.
stepdad used to be in a bowling league. Like, everyone at some point on the West Side has been in a bowling league.
My one of my uncles was, and he was, and I might be getting this wrong, but I think he was part owner of Harrison Bowl down in Harrison, Ohio. But I know that he worked
Okay.
there, did a lot of stuff there, and I just can't remember if he was actually part owner of it or if he was just super,
There's so
super
much that
involved
he
in it.
basically seemed like he owned the place.
Exactly, yeah.
That never happens on the West Side.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, that's all that I could think of for my rips and my
Did you
awesome
have the
ongoing
button?
staples.
Do you
I don't
button?
have a button
Okay.
for
It's
West
fine.
Side.
West Side, Best Side.
You'll get one.
It
will-
He,
it will
he couldn't
happen.
remember whether or not he had put it on the board before we started recording.
Yeah. I think we pretty much covered West Side staples. I'm sure there are more
I'm
out
just going to
there.
throw out Westside Brewery is one of the newest Westside staples that you have
Yeah.
Oh, for
got
sure.
to
Yeah.
come to.
There is
And
no
Westwood
West Side
has a
on this
Dora,
side.
so like
yes.
get a beer at West Side, throw your kids in the park, but observe them from behind the fence because you can't go in the fence.
And then
with
when
your
you're
beer.
and then when the kids are hungry after playing at the park, either go to the food truck at Westside Brewing or walk across the street to
To
Nation.
Nations,
Yeah.
exactly.
Get another drink, walk back into the park. Finish your drink, walk back to Westside, get another drink.
And just
Finish it
go,
in the park.
go around in a loop-de-loop the whole
yeah,
night long.
Yeah.
Or if you're into wine, I think the wine.
Hanky's.
The
Hanky has,
Hanky's
yeah,
is
Hanky's
down.
got tons of stuff
Yeah.
too.
So, and that is one of the reasons why you'll never get out of the West Side because you just keep drinking in the little Dora circle.
That's
that we
true.
have here, yeah.
Yeah. People, I remember like in high school, people complaining about how there's nothing to do in Cincinnati. And I'm like, there is. You just have to kind of look for it.
Yes.
And, okay, you want to go to Columbus. Okay, Columbus has a zoo. Does Columbus have an amusement park?
Does
that-
Columbus have Fiona? We have a zoo.
Yeah, I mean, Columbus doesn't have Fiona.
No.
No.
But, like, does Columbus have a Kings Island?
Nope.
Does Columbus have all of these super awesome soft serve places?
Nope.
It's
Columbus
there's
has some
fun
great
stuff to do in Cincinnati.
but the west side of Cincinnati has even better stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Yes. And I
Yeah,
consider
there's-
the zoo in the west side. I know that's kind of central, whatever. It's west side.
It's a pretty West
It's
Side
west.
zoo.
It's,
so.
it's more west than the east side.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so I think we pretty much covered it.
Let us know what we missed and where we should go next.
So, Julia, Caroline,
Caroline.
Yosef.
it's time for Joe's Dad Joke of the Week.
Yes, I've been waiting all week for this.
Are you,
Oh my
are
goodness.
you
Let's do it,
ready
let's
for
do it.
this? All right. David, are you ready for this?
I'm so glad we have a producer for a change. That's nice.
I know, it's awesome. He's been making sure that I don't forget anything, throwing extra stuff out there to talk about.
All right, so what's Irish and comes out in spring?
I don't know. What?
Patio furniture.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. That's that's one of those ones where the more you think about it, you're like, that's really ridiculous, but that's really funny. God dang it. I approve. Wholeheartedly approve.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thanks for inviting me. This was
fun.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks, Julia,
yes.
for coming and being our resident Westsider. And now everyone is in the podcast stratosphere, I guess. They are aware about the West Side, and they should all come over here and hang out with us.
Absolutely.
And they may never leave.
It's true. More than likely you won't ever leave because you won't be able to find your way out.
So that does it for this week's show. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find us at Craft Parenting Podcast. You can also get a hold of us via email, which is craftparentingpodcast@gmail.com.
If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. Make sure to share the show. It's what helps our show grow. If you'd like to send us stuff such as fan mail, craft supplies, or any sanity you happen to have lying around, we could sure use it. We have a P.O. box.
All this information is available on our website, which is www.craftparentingpodcast.com.
That's where we post the show notes. Plus, we've been writing lots of blog posts about some of the stuff that doesn't make it into the podcast.
And if you want to follow me personally, you can follow me on Instagram at craftparentingjoe.
And I am at Caroline Creates Crafts.
And Julia, did you want to plug anything as well?
Yeah, check out at Truth Beer Pod. It is a podcast about all of the amazing Cincinnati craft beer podcasts, such as Craft Parenting Podcast, at Truth Beer Pod everywhere.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Absolutely, anytime.
And with that, I'm Joe.
I'm Caroline.
And I'm Julia.
See you next time on the Craft Parenting Podcast.
Pupper dogs. Nothing better than puppers at a brewery.
Oh, yeah.
Well-behaved puppers at a brewery. I will
Well-behaved is
clarify
definitely
that statement.